I've basically been shut out, and that's no accident. Some platforms flat out refuse to have me on, and it's not hard to see why. They don't like independent thinkers. They want people who follow the herd, stay quiet, and play along with the go along, get along crowd. I'm not built like that. I'm not part of the herd, and I never wanted to be. Ella and I go way back, real far back, but you don't tell people how far back we go. I know, but I wear t-shirts. I still don't even know what that means. Anyway, let's keep it moving. I've been posting my thoughts and my stance online, but I haven't spoken directly until now because, honestly, I didn't even know where to start. Ellen DeGeneres is getting blasted across social media after publicly showing support for Diddy, while Ice Cube is calling out how Ellen, Oprah, and Diddy allegedly worked together to shape narratives behind the scenes. You see, Ice Cube has made it clear he's not part of the club. And a lot of people listening right now aren't either. That's what really makes the club angry. Not when you criticize them, but when you don't want in. When you don't bow, don't beg, and don't play their game. Ice Cube is one of the few people in entertainment who never back down, and he paid the price for it. He was blackballed, pushed aside, and locked out. He saw firsthand how greed and gatekeepers controlled the industry, and how powerful people wanted Diddy protected at all costs, allegedly. Ice Cube saw...
Well, but I've been shut out, you know. Some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang.
The signs long before the public did. He knew speaking up would come with consequences. He knew people would turn on him. That's how the gatekeeper system works. Everyone knows who they are, even if they pretend they don't. When people say, who, stop playing, you already know. Ever since Ice Cube released the contract with Black America, the pressure started coming from every angle. But he expected it. Ellen and Diddy go way back, and that's not speculation. Ellen invited Diddy on her show multiple times, and in her own words, she openly joked about knowing what went on at his after parties. This wasn't some random joke that aged badly. Ellen knew exactly what she was saying, we just didn't catch it back then. At one point, Diddy even asked her if he could throw a party at her house. Let that sink in. Now Diddy is under investigation, and suddenly Ellen moves to England. Are we really supposed to believe that's just a coincidence? Or is this about distancing herself before more information comes out? So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited? Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seen to show up today. No. Well, there is it on the East Coast. Yes. Well, that's why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time. Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house. What time would your party start? Let's say like 9:30. Really? That early? Yeah, I could make that. Yeah, but I think I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till that? That's a different type of party though. No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock. Then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel, then the after party. No, I know about them. Diddy's after parties were an open secret in Hollywood. Allegedly. Major celebrities knew, and Ellen was no stranger to that circle. He trusted her enough to even suggest hosting events, and once investigations started, her sudden move overseas raised eyebrows everywhere. Then came the commentary. She sounded so sincere, didn't she? Very sincere. Others weren't buying it.
You know what it is? It's your homeboy Ice Cube. And some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of the club.
One critic even said, Ellen DeGeneres is a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia. Good riddance. Strong words. But that sentiment spread fast. People started saying, "Release the files." They want transparency. They want names. They want answers. And suddenly, Ellen is gone. Her look completely changed, her social media wiped clean. That timing didn't go unnoticed. Reports followed saying Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi relocated to rural England, listing their Montecito mansion and telling friends they plan to never return to the US. Publications claimed the election was the reason, but skeptics weren't convinced. Ellen has been seen with a new brunette look, spotted at a pub called The Farmer's Dog, smiling and social while questions back home only grew louder. Sources told TMZ the property was purchased before the election, which only added fuel to speculation. But the rumors didn't stop there. Former staffers had already accused The Ellen Show of having a toxic work environment. The nice image cracked, and reports described behavior behind the scenes that didn't match the brand. This pattern felt familiar to many observers. On the surface, everything looked fun and friendly, but behind closed doors, stories told a different version. That contrast raised serious concerns. Then attention shifted to Steven Twitch Boss, an executive producer and longtime figure on the show. He worked closely with Ellen for years until the show ended in 2022. His tragic passing shocked the world. TMZ reported that before his death, Twitch took deliberate steps to isolate himself. Details of a note were never fully released, but it reportedly referenced personal struggles and challenges he had faced in the past.
I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people be like, what, who? Come on, man, stop playing. So, ever since I put out the contract with Black America, you know they've been here and there, this and that. But it's cool, you know. I expect that.
Public figures like Tyler Perry spoke openly about mental health struggles, reminding people how dark life can get and how important support is. The message was clear. Check on people, hug them, be there. Ellen addressed the controversy herself, saying, "As you may have heard, there were allegations of a toxic work environment. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take responsibility." She said, "This is the Ellen DeGeneres Show. My name is there, my name is there, my name is on underwear." And with that, the public was left to decide what they believe. We've had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about the show, our workplace, and what we want for the future. We've made the necessary changes, and today, we're starting a new chapter. That's what Ellen said publicly. But behind the scenes, people were questioning what that new chapter really meant. This kind of messaging is exactly what critics say Ellen used to smooth over serious workplace concerns. And let's be clear, this isn't just about Ellen. Allegedly, some of the biggest names in Hollywood, including Oprah, helped protect powerful people and reshape the narrative around Diddy. If you tried to speak out or challenge these gatekeepers, your career was done. No invites, no platforms, total blackout. What? But I've been shut out. That's how Ice Cube explained it. Platforms suddenly stopped calling, stopped booking, stopped listening. Why? Because he became an independent thinker. He wasn't part of the herd, not part of the go along to get along crowd, and definitely not part of the club. "I've been excluded on Oprah," he said straight up. And that shocked people. You grew up in South Central, found success early, spoke your mind, wasn't that the goal? But once Ice Cube stopped following their political and cultural script, the doors quietly closed. Almost 40 years rocking the mic, he said, pointing out that longevity didn't protect him. He made it clear he stayed away from certain celebrity circles and didn't play along with that lifestyle. That separation mattered more than people realized. Ice Cube explained that the moment he started calling out elites, the so-called friends disappeared. The same people who begged him to appear suddenly avoided him. It felt organized, like a coordinated shutdown designed to silence dissent. "What platforms banned you?" he was asked. "I tried to go on The View," he said. Producers told him certain hosts didn't like his perspective. Maybe it was politics, maybe independence, but either way, he wasn't welcome anymore. And that's the point. If you can't think for yourself, you're not free. Ice Cube said elite.
So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's the... Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, you know, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then no, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them. I'll listen to the music. I've heard that song, After Party.
Kids want control over culture, trends, music, and influence. We decide what's hot, what's cool, what people listen to, is how that mindset works. According to Ice Cube, the messages pushed by these power structures weren't about empowerment at all. He believed they were damaging, especially to Black communities. Labels, corporations, and institutions all moving in the same direction. He pointed out that many record labels are tied to systems that profit when communities fail. Music doesn't just happen, it's filtered. Certain songs get pushed, others get blocked. Some tracks are shaped by committees, not artists. Executives decide what message makes it through. Writers are chosen, themes are approved, and narratives are guided. That's not creativity, that's control. Then came Diddy's downfall. One day on top of the world, the next facing serious legal trouble. Ice Cube said that kind of collapse doesn't happen randomly. To him, it looked like Diddy upset the wrong people. This pattern isn't new in hip-hop. Rise fast, fall hard, and get replaced. Ice Cube said you don't need to be a genius to see it. Suddenly, Diddy's name was everywhere, and not for the reasons he wanted. Okay, so did you ever have any run-ins with Diddy? Any projects together? That question comes up a lot, and the answer was clear. Yeah, he worked on a few records through his producers on the War and Peace album. Business was business, and the music came out solid. How was he to work with? The response was simple, cool, and professional. They flew to New York, locked in at the studio, and worked mostly with Diddy's producer team. No drama, just music, and then everyone went their separate ways. By the mid-90s, the contact faded naturally. No big fallout, no beef. They were doing their thing. I was doing mine, he explained, and one thing was made crystal clear. He was never the partying type. I ain't never been to a Diddy party. That line stood out. Not interested, never wanted to be, and never felt like he missed out. He said he doesn't go to many parties at all. That lifestyle was never the goal. So when all this news started dropping, was he shocked? How can you be surprised? Hip-hop has always been—
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Hey, everybody. Everyone is in pain and trying to make sense of it, and we'll never make sense of it. And the holidays are hard, I think, anyway. But to honor Twitch, I think the best thing that we can do is to laugh and hug each other, and play games and dance and sing.
In the Wild West. You've got the good, the bad, and the ugly, all mixed together. When asked if Diddy was being targeted, the answer didn't hesitate. Yeah, I believe he is. The idea was that someone powerful had the ability to pull the trigger and start a domino effect. Things like that don't just happen randomly. Now Diddy is trying to flip the script. His sons, alongside one of his old friends, are pushing a documentary focused on his side of the story. The goal is clear: reshape the narrative before it's too late. 50 Cent already dropped Sean Combs' The Reckoning on Netflix, one of the platform's biggest docuseries ever. It was intense, detailed, and damaging. Diddy knows that if he ever wants a future in entertainment, he has to counter that image. Now his sons are releasing their own docuseries following the events around their father's arrest and trial. Cameras followed them into court, showing public support and unity during a very public legal battle. This new project, released through the Zeus network, is expected to air later this year. But many people online are calling it a straight-up PR move, not a search for truth. During the trial, viewers noticed something else. Diddy's sons appeared in court wearing Free Sean Combs shirts on separate occasions. Judges shut that down fast.
And I know it seems hard, it seems impossible, but that's how we honor him and hug each other and tell each other we love each other and let people know we're there for them and check in.
Making it clear you can't sway opinions like that. The Netflix documentary also showed footage of Diddy allegedly discussing how narratives should be controlled during the trial. To a lot of people, it felt less like defense and more like image management. Then there was the merch. Free Diddy shirts tied to a meme coin launched while the trial was still ongoing. That raised serious eyebrows. People questioned why branding and money were even part of the conversation. So why would Zeus Network sign off on this project? Critics started asking questions. Some online voices even suggested questionable leverage behind the scenes. Again, allegations, not facts. Now people are saying this move could backfire hard. Instead of cleaning up the image, it may shine an even brighter spotlight on everything people already don't trust. And that's the risk. When narratives feel forced, the public notices. And once that trust is gone, it's almost impossible to get back. Now there's another name popping up and people are starting to whisper loud. Diddy Jr., part of what some call the team, could allegedly be facing trouble too. Nobody else wants to touch this, but I will. Let's roll the clip. The producer behind this Zeus Network project, the one clearly meant to make people feel sympathy for Diddy and his sons, is Lemmy Plummer. In industry circles, some people refer to him as Mo Diddy, tied closely to Diddy Jr. That alone raised eyebrows. Word on the street, allegedly, is that Diddy may have been a silent partner in Zeus and helped fund projects. Others claim Lemmy had deep connections to Diddy's inner circle and helped facilitate introductions and events within that social scene. These are allegations, not facts. People online have been saying for a while that Lemmy could eventually get pulled into controversy of his own, long before this documentary was even announced. When you see certain clips, the closeness between
Well, but I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, I'm an outsider. And so, I'm not part of the club. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah,
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Diddy and Lemmy becomes hard to ignore. I'll show a clip at the end, and you can judge for yourself how tight that relationship looks. And yes, that's Lemmy's Instagram now. If people want to share their opinions about the documentary, they already know where to go. And if you know anything about 50 Cent, you know he plays chess, not checkers. He'll probably wait for this doc to drop, then release part 2 and completely overshadow it. Diddy is clearly scrambling to clean up his image because he's actively working on an appeal. There's a new legal push happening right now. His defense team is seeking his immediate release from federal prison, calling his 50-month sentence excessive. Once one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop, Diddy is currently being held at a federal facility in New Jersey. His lawyers filed an 84-page appeal asking the court to either reduce the sentence, order a new sentencing, or grant an acquittal. Back in July, a jury convicted him on 2 charges related to transportation, while acquitting him on the most serious accusations. The judge later sentenced him to just over 4 years, citing testimony from former partners who described feeling pressure during certain party environments, according to court records. Diddy's lawyers argue that the judge overstepped, claiming the sentence punished him for charges the jury rejected. They even wrote that the judge acted like a 13th juror, ignoring the verdict.
40 years rocking the mic. You still killing the gun. And I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Dub C ain't never been to a Diddy party, mother.
Thank God.
You ain't gotta worry about on them mother tapes.
Ice Cube verdict. But releasing a documentary nobody believes won't fix that. Diddy is also reportedly trying to shut down 50 Cent's Netflix docuseries. Lawyers sent cease and desist letters and are threatening lawsuits against both 50 Cent and Netflix, demanding over $1 billion. Too bad for them. 50 Cent says everything was obtained legally. Netflix backed that up. The series includes behind-the-scenes footage of Diddy discussing strategy with lawyers before his arrest, as well as public interactions caught on camera. Diddy's legal team claims the footage was stolen and calls the project a hit piece. But the producers push back hard, stating they had full rights and legal clearance. When asked if the documentary was personal, the response was clear. It wasn't about hate. It was about telling stories from multiple perspectives, including voices.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been, you know, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. You know, I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but...
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not.
That had never been heard. This all proves one thing. Speaking out in this industry comes with consequences. Every attempt to reshape the narrative gets challenged, blocked, or attacked. Between the appeals, the documentaries, and the public fallout, Diddy's situation shows just how controlled and complicated the entertainment world really is. Nothing is ever just what it looks like on the surface.